Hello, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is episode 5 of my April Stamp Set of the Month series featuring the Avery Elle stamp set Peekaboo Fair. Every week this month I have brought you new ideas with this stamp set, and today's no exception. I am going to be doing some no-line coloring with the Fair stamp set and other Peekaboo stamp sets that I love. So we're going to make a card and something cute to go with the card. So kind of different today, but super fun. We have made some really cool things this month, and I thought it would be fun to kind of look over them. So let's check those out, and then we'll get started on today's projects. Here we go. Wow, that was fun. Today we're going to be using these stamp sets, of course Peekaboo Fair, the Peekaboo Pals for some more friends for my unicorn, and the Market Stand stamp set. And we're going to be doing some no-line coloring, so I'm using the Distress Ink Antique Linen to stamp these out on Bristol Smooth cardstock because I'm using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And this has been sped up greatly. I am pretty new to no-line coloring. I feel like this is only my second time doing it, so you're seeing it without any practice. I really just decided to go for it. I do usually like to practice these things before I video them. So I like to give you guys some tips and pointers on these things from things that I learned. But I had, as you can see, numerous images that I was coloring for this card. So I thought we'll just, get at this together. I am a little leery about doing no-line coloring because I stamp for a reason. I feel like I'm not the world's greatest artist as far as drawing goes, but even if I'm tracing, I feel like I'm a little bit, I have a shaky hand, I'm nervous to mess up. So I was a little nervous in doing this coloring, and I will be honest, when it was all said and done, I thought it was gonna go in the rubbish pile. I spent an hour and a half coloring, and I was not happy with the things at all. But I just decided to keep going. I would just keep going, and once I had everything die cut out and put them together, I thought, it's not that bad. I am gonna go for it. And I know that we can all be our own worst critic at times, and I personally am trying to get over that and realize that things don't have to be perfect. But that being said, there is a part of this card that I completely redid. So, some things you stick with and other things you must change. So I don't know what the moral of that story is, but really, honestly, I think this whole entire, whether it's a hobby or your job, it should be fun, and your creations should come from your heart. And that's the most important part, not perfection. So this is a good lesson in doing things that don't have to be perfect, but are purely done for love and for the pleasure of creating. So there you have it. I am not sharing all the markers that I used. I have the, I believe the 96 set of these Zig markers, and I used probably 50 of them. So, just pull out your markers and start playing. You can see on the edge of the paper, I was just testing them and seeing how they blended together to get the look that I wanted. Some of them I didn't love, like you can see my market stand there. I thought it would be really fun to have purple because I'm creating kind of a country fair scene, which is why I wanted to do no line coloring, because it has that hand drawn look that would be cute for a country scene. But the purple, no. We'll get to that though. Hang on, we'll get to that. So I'm coloring the little bumper car for this in some bright colors. I was not sure about the bumper car, but I went with it, and in the end, I did like it. The thing that I did not love and did not end up using was the little tiny party hat that's purple right there in about the center of the screen. No, I tried to fix it. I didn't love it. I did not use that one thing. So now I'm using a journaling pen to add the word tickets and 50 cents to my booth and put back some of the eyes and mouths for my critters and the license plate for the bumper car. And then I die cut everything out, and this is when I was like, okay, all right, these are not as bad as I had worked up in my mind to be. So I took a bunch of the hearts and stars from all three of the stamp sets I just showed you, and I am using those to create a background for my card, stamping them in clear pigment ink all the way across. So some of these might overlap, that's okay. And then I'm bringing in some pan pastels. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I do love the pan pastels. They are an artist quality pastel in a pan form, and you apply them to your cardstock or paper with these soft tools. And I am applying this right over what I stamped. It's not smearing it. In fact, the pastel will stick more to those areas where the ink is, making it a shade darker than the pastel. It's very cool. Also, these blend together like a dream, and making a background with these is so fast because they're so concentrated. You don't have to go over it lots of times. I did end up going over mine 2 times to intensify the color a little bit, but it really, I don't think, was quite necessary. You can end up like smudging the color where you don't want it. So really 1 time is probably better. Now I have this gold splash from Fun Stamper's Journey. I love that this makes a gold mist over my whole paper, and then I kind of squeeze the trigger halfway and get some of those bigger splotches. So I will let that dry. I picked up a little of the excess, and once that's dry, I'm going to bring in a spray to seal my pan pastels. You don't have to do this. Some people don't. This is the one I like. It has a matte finish. It's good for pastels, charcoal, and pencil art. So set that aside after I spray it in a well-ventilated area and let that dry. And then we can put some of our pieces together. So here's the Ferris wheel. I am putting the critters right into their little carriages on the Ferris wheel, and then I'm popping up their hands or paws or hooves or whatever you want to call them, and that just gives them like some fun dimension. So we'll add those, and the monkey gets the cotton candy, and this little koala, so cute, I love how he turned out, gets a party hat, and I think they are cute. And I liked on this card to use tons of critters because at the fair, you know, everybody comes out. You have all different kinds of critters and people at the fair, right? All right, so the hippo is going in the ticket booth, and I thought I would draw some tickets. So I just did 2 little swirl lines. They're not perfect, which, you know, is the theme. It's supposed to look hand-drawn, and I thought if I added just some little dots, you could see like where the perforated line for the tickets are. Yeah. So I'll add those in, and I had to freehand cut that, and that was just fine. It was an easy shape to do. I'm going to put that on to the hippo so it looks like he's holding it. And I did do a second smaller strip of the tickets, and you'll see me add those in just a sec. But isn't it cute how you can make these critters look like they're holding things? Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about them. And this finishes up the booth that I don't love it. Even as I'm doing this, I'm thinking it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, but I don't love it. So the unicorn is going to hold the tickets. So each of my critters in the Ferris wheel have their own little thing. A hat, the tickets, the cotton candy. Cute. The elephant is going in the bumper car. And once it's all put together, I'm really, really loving it. I did feel like my party hat needed a little something, so I brought in a light pink marker and filled in the spaces between the lines, and I liked that a little bit better. So there's the three things. Now I'm going to do the inside of the card because I just am working while I'm letting my sprayed background dry. So I'm taking those same stamps that I used for my background and stamping them in the four corners of this panel that will become the inside panel of the card. Now you might think these panels I've used for my backgrounds are a little large. That is because I am making a 5x7 card. So this panel is actually 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So I'll have a little border all the way around. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the inside. For this card, it's going to say, "Have a wheelie happy birthday." So cute. All right, so we'll glue that on the inside of our purple card, and you can see it has a border all the way around, and I thought it needed a little gold sparkle on the inside, so I splattered on some gold silk. I'll link all these things for you in the description box below. For the outside of this card, I am stamping a sentiment on that same purple paper and embossing it with white, and it says, "Wishing you a magical day." So we'll pour that powder on and pour the excess back into the container, and then just use my heat gun to melt that. Embossing is still magical. After all these years of stamping, I think it's magical. So I trimmed that out with my scissors, and take a look at this shiny background. I think it's a really fun night sky for the country fair. So we'll adhere down the Ferris wheel and the ticket stand right onto the card, and then my sentiment in the upper right corner, and we'll put that on to our card base with some fun foam. I already stuck it down on one side because it had adhesive on one side, and the other side I just added some double stick tape, and we'll put that down so it has a border all the way around, and that should be the end of this card. But I just did not like that purple ticket stand. It was not working for me at all. So I decided I would make another one in brown. So I'm using 4 different shades of brown to color this, and I thought you might like to see it because I didn't show you the coloring when I colored it purple, because when I was putting this video together, I already knew that it was going to change. So here I am coloring it out, and I like to just feather out the marker towards the middle and then blend it out with the lighter colors, and I feel like this really gives it the look of wood grain. I have plenty of other videos where I've colored this stand and the hot cocoa stand below, or I have plenty of those videos that I will link for you. At the end of this video, I will have a playlist of all my Avery Elle videos, because I've used this stand several times. Colored it with Copics, with watercolor pencils, so you'll want to check it out. Okay, if you're squeamish, you might want to look away. This is some extreme card surgery right here. You can see I just ripped that purple stand off, and it was a little frightening, to be honest. Yeah, and there was a little paper ripping of my background. So I was bound and determined to make this work and save my hippo and my bird. So I was very careful with that, but didn't care about the stand. So I ripped that off. I did have to pick up the hippo, scoot it over to cover up the torn paper. And I then put my new stand back on the card and covered it all up. And no one will ever know except you and I that that happened. So there's no stress in card making. All right, so here's his new string of tickets. This one's much larger. That's okay. I made it work, and I think it looks even better because it's so long. And you might notice I put tickets at the top and 50 cents on the little sign, and I like that so much better. It doesn't feel so squished in there. So that finishes this card. Sorry about the gory card ripping part. Had to happen. It had to happen. I'm so much happier with this card. So I thought it would be fun to make something cute to go with it. So I have this bag topper die from Avery Elle that I die cut from another blended piece. I did exactly the same way. This fits a 4x6 bag, cellophane bag, perfectly. And I'm going to be using the Peekaboo Pets stamp set, brand new to me. I'm so excited. It's one of their first Peekaboo sets, but it's new to me, and I thought it would be cute to put some farm animals on here because at the fair, the farm animals, and I feel like, you know, maybe at night they come out and they get their treats, and kind of reminds me of Charlotte's Web. So I thought the farm animals would be fun. I'm using some white Stays On ink to stamp Have Fun across the bottom of this bag. This ink is made to stamp on things like plastic and glass, but you want to add ink to it each time you use it. And then you want to clean off your stamp when you're done because it will just really stick on there. So give it a good scrubbing like that. All right, let's add these critters to our bag topper, and we'll put them some little cotton candy in each of their hands. And once the bag's dry, we can add something fun like cotton candy. Isn't this so cool? There is plenty in here, and I know right now we're not going to give anybody a treat that is not pre-wrapped. I know that, but you know, times are going to change, and this I think would be a really fun party favor for a birthday party, or just to brighten your kid's day maybe. So I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to staple it to the back of this bag topper, and then I'm going to add some double stick tape to the top flap to close it down because I don't want my staples to show on the front of this bag. There you have it. And now it needs a cute little tag. So I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday from the Peekaboo Pals stamp set that I used on the card. And then we'll do a little bit more pan pastels on top of that. I just added a little tiny bit of pan pastels. A little bit goes a long way with these pastels. You barely have to pick any up. Like one swipe across there will go a long way. And then if you create powder on the top of your pan pastel, you can just pick that up with your sponge and use that too. So I splattered that, and then I'm going to just fussy cut this into a tag with my scissors. So we'll snip the little corners off to make it have a little bit of a tag shape there at the top, and use a paper piercer to make the hole. So you can see they're tiny little snips. So if they're not even, you're not really going to be able to tell because it's so tiny. And then I have some twine here that I will use to attach this cute little tag to the handle on that bag topper, which is one of my favorite things about this die, is that it creates a handle. So very cute. I'm going to tie this on with a little bow, and that will finish up this cute project to go along with my card. I would love to know what you guys think about me making a cute thing to match my cards. Let me know if you like that, if you like seeing other things besides cards. So that is my no line coloring and my lesson in letting go of perfection. Yes. All right, so I hope that you've enjoyed the Peekaboo Fair Stamp Set of the Month series in April, and I would love for you to tune back in next Tuesday where I will reveal the May Stamp Set of the Month. I'm very excited about it. I hope that you will join me, and I will be back again with more videos very soon. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you again with more cute projects very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!